October 8, 1871, a date etched into the annals of history as one of the most catastrophic events the American city of Chicago would ever face. But what if I told you that beyond the flames and ruin lies a story steeped in mystery, intrigue, and the haunting shadows of a simple cow? This is not just the tale of a devastating fire. It's a gripping saga of human resilience and the unthinkable. As night fell on that fateful October evening, the air was thick with tension. Chicago was a city buzzing with life, unaware that a storm was brewing. Not of nature, but of fate. In the quiet corners of a modest barn, a woman named Catherine O'Leary tended to her beloved herd of cows. But there was one cow in particular, a seemingly innocuous animal, who would soon be tied to a legend that would haunt Chicago for generations. Reports suggested that Mrs. O'Leary was milking her cows when suddenly, in the shadows of the barn, the lantern she carried could be seen, flickering ominously. Some say it was merely an accident, a cow kick, a lantern toppled over, but others whispered darker theories, whispering of deliberate sabotage. That night, the conditions were perfect for disaster. Months of drought had turned the city into a tinderbox, dry wood ready to ignite at the slightest spark. But who could have known that a simple evening's chores would lead to one of the deadliest fires in American history? As flames reached for the heavens, a far more sinister narrative began to unfold. It wasn't just a barn burning. It was the very essence of a city igniting. Each crackle of the fire whispered secrets, the townsfolk fleeing in fear, carrying with them stories of the lurking shadows that reached out of the barn that night. Less than an hour after the fire began, tales began to circulate. It was reported that a mysterious drayman, known only as Dennis Sullivan, had witnessed the first flickers of flames. But what happened next? Did he see something? Or was he a mere fabricator of legends? Rumors swirled about what truly sparked the blaze, weaving a tapestry of accusation and intrigue. Local newspapers, eager to capitalize on the chaos, spun wild tales. Mrs. O'Leary and her cow became the scapegoats for a city seeking to play the blame game. But for every yarn spun in the papers, there were hints of a cover-up lurking just below the surface. Could someone have been deliberately trying to sow fear and chaos in the heart of the embattled citizens? As the fire continued to ravage Chicago, more than just buildings burned. Trust was incinerated, friendships dissolved in the chaos, and what was once a thriving immigrant community faced destruction and prejudice. In the smoldering aftermath, whispers of revenge and retribution began to echo through the alleyways. Months after the fire, an investigation would clear Mrs. O'Leary's name, but the damage was done. The legend of the cow would persist, a tale far more thrilling than the truth. Dark conspiracies lingered over Chicago like a shroud, as all eyes turned toward the O'Leary family. Were they accidental victims or the architects of chaos? Even today, the story lives on, a cautionary tale mingled with folklore, a reflection of society's fears. Mrs. O'Leary's cow stands as a metaphor for vulnerability in the face of disaster, and a reminder of how myths can ignite even greater fires within a community. As we look back, we must confront the shadows of our past and the stories that still shape our identity.